Hello everyone, and welcome to a new update on Audiosphere. My last topic, which I've posted manually, already told you I've created a complete new engine and stepped out of XNA framework because of some limitations that I was not pleased with. Not saying it's a bad system, it's not a bad engine, it's actually pretty cool, but yeah. Not for purposes that we need it for, which is audio games. So let's dive into this small topic. In this little podcast, I will tell you a little bit about the engine, how it works, and the basic fundamentals of it. A full documentation will be available later, of course, but it's not ready for release yet. It's not even in alpha stage yet. It's just showing you guys what I've got so far, and keeping you updated, of course, because most people would like that. So let's see here. So first of all, it's programmed in C#, which is a managed code language. I would have done C++, but C managed is a lot easier to work with for everyone. So I'm using OpenTK and OpenAL library. However, instead of using OpenAL for the audio library, which is great, it's very depthful, but I'm using IorClan library, which is free to use for free purposes. So since this is an open source engine and it's going to be free to use, and so are my games, I'm able to use this with the free license. If you're going to use my engine for a paid game, you need to purchase the IorClan license for that as well, which is a commercial license. But I will document that as well. Documentation will be pretty big, since there's a lot of stuff that you need to know when writing a game. You won't even need to touch the engine. You just need to edit text files, which is easy, of course. And I'll add an encryption system later, so you can encrypt your data files so that it cannot be tampered with unless someone can reverse engineer it, of course. However, more of that later and not now. I hope I won't bore you to death in this little podcast. Like I said, let's dive into what we've got so far. So let's check out the construction of the folders.
Alt tab, data. Data, item.
In your data folder, you have
Audio.
your audio folder, which
Enter.
contains all your MP3 files.
Effect, dialogue, effect, music.
You can
Effect.
name it whatever
Dialogue.
you want. You'll hear later why.
Enter, dialogue,
So
items view
in
multi.
dialogue, I have
Elisa.
a folder
Menu. Elisa.
called Elisa.
Enter, Elisa.
And in here,
Elisa underline hit underline 02.mp3.
here you can hit hear the sounds
T,
that
test
I
dot
have
love.
for Elisa. I have a WAV file, MP3 file. You can use even OGG files, FLAC files, MOD files. So I'd suggest MP3 and using mono sounds, because that's the best for the 3D experience. So you can hear my test.wav file and my hit file.mp3 and so on and so on. So this is your audio folder.
Dialogue, items view.
Inside the audio folder you can name whatever, but
Shell folder view, items view.
you need to
Effect, data, item.
keep the name audio
Model, audio,
as it is. Don't modify that.
models.
Models, leave it intact as well. So let's dive into the models, because that's important.
Enter, shell folder view. Sounds.xsense.
So here we have sounds.xsense file and
Data.xsense.
data.xsense file, which is basically data is where you add your world models to it. So basically everything that you can collide into for object collision. So basically meaning that two objects cannot cross each other, but you bump into it and it stops you. So here's where you add them. So here's your model data. So let's dive into that file for now.
Enter, data.xsense.
More detailed tutorials will come later, of course, but this is just an introduction into the system. Before I continue, the engine later milestones will be including different genres of games. Right now it's adventure puzzle games only. So meaning you can build your horror game, or your funny adventure game where you have to collect items, find items, combine them, and so on and so on. The main type is right now adventure. Later on, I'll add more more optional game settings, so you can change the genre to, for example, being a strategy, resource tycoon game, and so on. Different genres will be added with different trigger systems, with a lot of details, but I'll not dive into that right now. Anyways, let's check out the file data, which contains our collidable objects or models. So let's listen to it.
None, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, none.
So you can hear none, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, none, which means this is a line you always need to keep in there. This is for non-collidable objects in game. I'll explain that in a bit. The next line.
2, 2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, tutorial. Wall underline left, 5, 0, 1, minus 2, 5, 0, 2, 5, tutorial. Wall underline top, 1, wall underline bottom, 1, 5, 0, 2, 5, 0, minus 25, tutorial.
Okay, so as you can hear, I have four walls for this little project right now. 4 walls, left, front, back, right. So you have an enclosed room around you with one model called Alyssa, which is basically standing to your left. So
2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, tutorial.
So let me explain the line, how it works. So first of all, you need to name your model. Be careful, because it needs to be identical to what you're going to use in sounds. I'll explain that in a bit. So model name is very important, and it needs to be unique. So
LLYSSA.
So after Alyssa, you add a comma. Comma separates the next parameter.
2.
So you hear 2,
2,
which is wide length. So I have 2 by 2. So Alyssa is a little square, which is 2 by 2. And the next after comma,
0.
You will hear 0, which is basically your z coordinates, which is your z coordinate, which is basically your vertical alignment. Then your next comma
0
will be your z-axis. I keep messing up the coordinates. Sorry about that. I've just been quite busy with everything. Anyways, those are 3 coordinates. So first one is for your vertical alignment. So if you want it front, back, and such. The next parameter is the height. So if you want it up and down in the world, so if you want it to float, 0 being on the floor, and the next parameter will be the horizontal alignment,
2,
which is to
0.
So on my left side, which is to 0, is where Alyssa is placed. So after that, you have another comma,
T,
and you have a name, which is
UTORIAL.
Tutorial. This is the room name, very important as well. Every object that you're going to use for a certain part of your game, a room, an area, so to say, needs to have its same name for that specific room. Because otherwise, if you were to add models, you could hear every model in every room in every area of your game, while that should not happen. So, important, name your room. In this case, I've named all my models into the room called tutorial. So in the tutorial room is where we will start in the game, and that's where the models will be at. So let's close down this file.
Alt
and
F4
go
models.
to sounds.
Sounds.xn, enter. Sounds.
Okay, so sounds is very important. These are non-collidable sounds and collidable sounds. You can make sounds that have no model, which is the first line of model called none. You just, let me explain it line by line.
Name equals Alyssa __, 01.mp3.
So name equals the first line.
Name equals Alyssa __, 01.mp3.
This is Alyssa online hit on line 01.mp3, which is in my audio file library, which I just mentioned in the beginning. Basically, let's go to the next line and I'll explain why this file is called hit.
Path equals backslash data backslash audio backslash dialog backslash Alyssa backslash.
So this is your path. Sorry for the interruptions. I thought I heard something. Yep, nice. Okay. Path means your path to the file, which in my case is data backslash dialog backslash Alyssa. The next
Position equals 0, 0, 20.
So this is the position of this sound. Why you need to place it after a model? It's very simple. For example, if you were to bump into a table and on one side of the table there's a little cup on there and it falls off or whatever it triggers, it needs to be in a different place than where you're bumping it into it. So you can position the sound accordingly to your wishes.
Attached equals false.
Attached means that if this sound is attached to your player, for example, a cell phone. If you were to add a cell phone into the game, it will be attached to you wherever you walk if you have it on you. The sound would travel with you while you're walking. Otherwise, it would just, stay on its current position that you stated before.
Looped equals false.
Now, looped speaks for itself, if you want to loop the sound or not.
Sound type equals hit.
This is important. This is the sound type. In this case, it's called hit, which means that whenever you collide into this object, this model, this is the hit sound it will make. You can add as many hit sounds as you want. Doesn't matter. You can add for get 10 or more. It will randomly pick a hit sound. Okay. Next line.
Menu type equals in game.
Menu type is very important. This type of sound is in game, which makes sense. It's not a main menu, not a booting sound. Booting means startup, main menu meaning menu, and so on. So this is an in-game sound. I'll specify everything in documentation later, of course, like I explained before.
Model equals Alyssa.
So this is important. Like I said, in the other file, you need to name your models, and it needs to be a unique name. Here is where you attach the sound to the model. So if it's called model equals, then it will be on that model name. It will be triggered with that model specifically. In this case, it's a hit sound. So if we were to bump into Alyssa, it would play the sound or another sound which is random. And since I've added multiple sounds to Alyssa for hitting her, bumping into her, it will be randomly selected.
Colon.
Then you get a colon sign, which means that it's a separator for your next sound. I've made a colon so it's easy to understand for everyone to remember as well. So add a colon if you want to add another sound below it. So next sound.
Name equals Alyssa underline hit underline 02.mp3.
So here's my second hit sound for Alyssa, and so on, and so on, and so on. Then there are non-collidable sounds. For example, the sound you heard, you can hear in a moment when booting up Audiosphere or Luna Stories, whatever you wish to name this one. Whenever you boot up the game, you hear boot sounds. However, this is not anything related to a model. You don't bump into the booting sound. You don't do anything with it. It's just a sound that plays. So you can name the model equals none, and it will use no collision detection and stuff like that. So, of course, I'll be more specific about that later as well. So, let's check it out. So, I've added 4 walls, which is in total room size 50 by 50 by 50 by 50. And I've added 1 model inside that room, which is called Alyssa, which is standing to my left according to the coordinates I given in the file configuration. Now the cool part is the room size. I made it 50 by 50. You can make it whatever size you want. You can make it rectangle. You can do whatever you wish with it, right? So here's the cool part. Right now it's a medium-sized room, meaning that if something would make a sound in there, the reverb sound would be medium increased as well. So the voice of Alyssa would be a bit reverbish, a bit echoey-like. Well, not echoey-like, but more reverb to it. If you have a tiny room, you would hear no reverb, and it would be different sounding. If you have a huge room, you might even hear an echo in there, and the reverb will be high, of course. So it will, the sound will adjust to the room size that you make. So that's the engine that will check every item that you add in game and the coordinates, and make every sound as realistic as possible in that case, or in that matter. Yeah. So when I boot up, if you don't hear footsteps, that's because I haven't added footstep sounds yet. The whole movement system works, of course, but I haven't just gotten around to adding footstep sounds, which is okay. Later you will have another configuration file, which is called environment, and you can open that, and then you can add a line which states your room name, ground type, ceiling type, ambience type, and so on. So you can specify more details about the ambience around the room as well there. So if you were to say, okay, floor type equals grass, you will hear grass sound when you're stepping on it, sand, metal, wood, and so on. Like I said, I won't be specific about that right now because it's not needed. So let's boot it up and let's check it out, because we have a little room done. We have one model in there which is collidable called Alyssa. I've enabled the debugger TTS engine so you can hear whatever I'm bumping into as well. So let's check it out and see if it randomly does everything that it's supposed to do.
Alt tab, models, alt tab, profile colon alt tab, my videos, alt tab, Linux stories left parent debug vertical bar x86 right parent dash.
Okay. Let me turn off JAWS, because that's always annoying when holding down W key or whatever to walk.
Menu, search. JAWS, enter, O. Exit, X. Enter, cancel, OK button, enter.
Okay.
Linux.
Now I just need to press F5 to start my debugging session.
Audio Sphere Game Engine.
Warning. This game is rated M for mature. If you have an active screen reader, for the best experience, turn it off. Use the arrow keys to navigate through the menu, and use the Enter key to confirm your selection.
So what I forgot to mention is that the trigger system, I'll explain that more in documentation as well, but triggers allows you to interact with objects. You can script and sound to make it appear randomly in whatever direction. You can do a lot of stuff with it. However, you can hear now the main menu. It randomly plays random objects left repeatedly around you in different positions and so on and so on. It's just randomly generated with, well, for those interested in development, I'm not using the simple random function from Microsoft itself, since that is not random at all. It's static. So I'm using a cryptographic randomizer which always returns a random number. So for my positions, I just made random accent or horizontal and vertical alignment positions for it. Okay, so with that said, let's browse the menu.
New game.
So we got new game, of course.
Continue game. Options. Credits. Exit game. Credit. Option. Continue game. New game.
Whenever we start a new game now, we will spawn in the tutorial. You can specify in the configurations what room you want the player to spawn in and what location and so on. Okay, so let's begin, and we should have a square room with Alyssa talking.
You are so far away.
As you can hear, Alyssa is to our left.
That mouse away from me.
So you can use the mouse to look around you. So let's move towards Alyssa. Let's look at her first. Okay, there we go. So when we walk into her, she should make a hit sound. Well, since I added multiple hit sounds to her, she should make different sounds, and you should hear the debugger TTS engine speak whatever object you're hitting. So let's check it out. Let's walk towards it.
Just move that hand.
Okay.
You can do it. I hope. Otherwise, we are stuck here. My mom says mice are like a box of chocolates. Wait! Oh, never mind. Mice will find a way. Okay. Who put that
Wall
mouse
underscore
trap
left.
here?
Oh, I'm now hitting the wall.
You are so
The
far
left
away.
wall.
No!
As you could
Get
hear.
that mouse away from me. Watch
Mouse.
it.
So I bumped into her, as you could hear. So if I'm holding down the W key,
Stop it!
Hellicip.
Ow.
you can hear random sounds.
Watch it.
Random sounds playing while I'm walking into her.
Hellicip.
Stop it!
Hellicip.
And you can hear that
Ouch.
she has engine search whatever object you're hitting.
Ow.
Hellicip.
Ah!
Hellicip.
Watch it.
Hellicip.
Ouch!
Hellicip.
So that's the collision system. It might not sound like much, but it's a big coding deal. So I'm really happy and pleased with all of it, and it's working.
Ouch!
Just had to hit her again.
Ah!
Sorry, kid.
Ouch! Ouch!
Okay, so let's move around.
Wall
to-
underscore left.
Oop, now I'm touching the left wall. So I just stepped to the left using the A key. Now let's use the W key to walk forward, and I should hit the top, the front wall in a minute or in a few
Wall
seconds.
underscore right.
Oh, I'm actually facing to the right. Okay, so I'm hitting the right wall right now. Okay, cool. So if I'm moving backwards, I'll hit the left wall, and now I'm gonna hit the
Wall
top.
underscore top.
There you go, I'm hitting the top wall. So now now I'm gonna hit the left wall,
Wall underscore left.
and now I'm gonna move to the bottom, to the back. Okay,
Wall underscore bottom.
so as you can hear, the whole
Wall
room-
underscore left.
yeah.
Wall underscore left.
So, and as you can hear by the sounds of Alyssa, she sounded a bit hollow. Reverb was initialized because of the room size and not being more objects in there to fill up the room space. So it's an empty space, so it sounds more reverb. Okay, cool. So let me stop the debugger. Let me enable JAWS again so I know what I'm doing actually. That might be a good plan. JAWS.
JAWS Home Use Edition.
There we go. Okay, cool. So, yeah. Okay, so basically, yeah, that's all I've got to say about the engine right now. I'm pleased with the whole system. All the mathematical calculations are spot on and pixel perfect, so that's all nice. The documentation will come later, like I said, since that's not important right now. It will of course be open source, and you'll guys be able to create your own audio games with it. But yeah, more updates will follow as soon as I develop more options into it. So I hope I didn't bore you to death in this podcast. I'll make developers podcasts as well. You can check my YouTube channel, subscribe for upcoming videos on this. Well, actually it's no video, it's just audio, but whatever. Before I leave you guys, the engine is purely based on, like I said, the OpenTK framework with OpenAL. However, I'm not even using OpenGL graphics, it's just a black full screen. There's no visuals anywhere, it's just purely based on theoretical positions and sounds. So it will be very, very optimized for audio, and you guys can use all the resources for the computer just pure on audio instead of graphics, which saves a lot of computer usage. So that's it. I hope you guys will enjoy this soon. I hope you appreciate the time that I'm spending on it. And for future development of audio games, let's make something awesome. I'll post this the source code on github.com. You'll be able to join me there as a team member. You'll be able to commit new updates to the engine. People will be able to make pull requests, post issues, and so on and so on. But that will come later. So take care, guys, and talk to you again soon. Bye bye.